All right, welcome to What to Say Now. This is episode 5. My name is Rayl. Today we're talking about community, engagement, and conversations that we need to be having. Joined with me today is Paveza.
Hey there.
All right, and so What to Say Now, if you haven't been here before, we take questions from our community, we take questions from the internet and the topics that are going on all over the US and around the world, and we try and have conversations or try and discuss topics of conversations that are often uncomfortable, maybe a little bit awkward, but are conversations that we need to have. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to start with community. And today's first topic actually comes to us via email. If you've never been here before, or even if you haven't asked a question, there's multiple ways to get us to address an issue that you might be having. Number one is through our Facebook group, which is What to Say Now. You can find that at facebook.com/groups/What to Say Now. We also have our Facebook page at facebook.com/happygrasshopper. But what a lot of people don't know, and we need to get it out there a little bit more, is that we also have an email, whattosaynow@happygrasshopper.com. That's all one word, no spaces or underscores or anything like that. whattosaynow@happygrasshopper.com.
Yep.
Somebody submitted a question via email over the weekend asking about communities. They're asking about how they can leverage their HOA Facebook group that they're a part of in order to increase business and pick up some listings, pick up some sales, things like that. So Maya, how would you utilize an HOA Facebook group in order to kind of improve your business, increase the amount of business that you get?
I think the key there is obviously we can't market ourselves directly, but we can offer tips and information on the community, amenities, because you always have people asking about things like that. And I think, if your homeowners association or your local neighborhood doesn't have their own website, but a lot of people are on Nextdoor. So it's the same kind of thing. You can't directly solicit, but you can be an expert and make sure that if people look at your profile, they'll find your business page. So I've always found that to be a good approach, and I think it's the most organic. Finding ways to serve the people without selling, because nobody wants that. It's like, hey, what's the best restaurant, or a new restaurant open, who's been there? Even if you don't have information, create a conversation, ask a question that people are going to want to engage with.
Yeah, that's a great point. I've always thought that being a part of an HOA group or being part of a community group is exactly that. It's about engagement. And so not coming out and listing every open house that you have, or coming out and saying, hey, if you're looking for a market report on the neighborhood, I've got one. Although that could be, if you've got a link to one or something like that, that could always be something, but you don't want it to always be real estate. You want to look for opportunities to jump in there to engage and how to be active, because the more people that see your posts will look at your profile, like you said, and will see that you're a real estate agent. You don't need to mention it every single time you post. God, no.
But you do have to mention it once in a while, because once you become part of a community, and you have to be there all the time. If it's a homeowners association and they meet monthly, be at the meetings. Even contribute the snacks, the drinks, and maybe even a little tent card there saying who you are and what you are, and maybe a special business card just for that. Say, reach out for a neighborhood valuation, use RPR or another report, and pull up some information for folks. Kind of give them the light touches in helping them without the sale. Like, hey, this is what I do for a living, so if you need anything related, please let me know. That's, I think, the best approach. But you really have to be a part of the community, not just show up when you need something. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
Or when you want business. Yeah, absolutely. The other ways to engage are obviously, people are asking things all the time. Do you have a preferred pest control company? Do you have a preferred someone that can power wash my house, someone that can redo my fence, someone that can do some odd jobs around the house. As a real estate professional, a lot of times you have all of those contacts. You
Absolutely.
can
Carry the lists
represent
with you.
for refinancing. You can,
Yeah.
you have an electrician or a plumber or something like that that you call for your stuff. You have that resource list when people are looking for it, jump in there and help them out. But also, like you said, I really like the way that you said that earlier, is not just jumping in on, like, if somebody asks, hey, does somebody have a good plumber, or does somebody know a good restaurant that I can go to tonight? You jump in there and say, hey, I've been looking for somewhere to go have a special dinner. What's your recommendation? Things like that, where you're not only you're not the one that's sitting there giving all of the information, you're also asking for more information. So it feels like you're more involved. It gets people responding on your stuff. People are going to see your stuff more. What other ways can we utilize a group like that in order to help leverage our business?
Well, I think another way to do it is actually kind of almost a reversal, where you go out to the local businesses and tell them that you're active in your local homeowners association or community subdivision, whatever it might be, and say, hey, look, if our neighborhood decides that you're preferred dry cleaner or restaurant or something, is there some incentive that you're willing to offer? And they may say, great, if somebody identifies themselves as being a resident of that community, or even as an agent, one of your clients, maybe they get a one-time free dry cleaning or a punch card or something, like 10 dry cleanings, get the 11th for free. But, then you can bring that back to the community and say, hey, look, I'm out there in the community all the time, and here's what I talked to somebody about, and they're willing to do it if you guys. So I think that when you're bringing value, and then people can associate with that, with you, with those things, then they're gonna come and they're going to ask you, for help in times where they might need it. But I mean, you do have to remind them once in a while, because I've had a few times where it's like, oh, I didn't know you were a realtor, and you're like, my next door neighbors, when their house was going to an estate sale, like, like, hello. It's like 20 something years, but I wouldn't want to list my next door neighbor's houses. That's just another one for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, you engage in any way you can, community sales. And I think I saw her come in here, and I love this. My mother-in-law is here, Sue. She used to go around, I think it was Memorial Day, Sue, and she used to put like American flags. 4th of July, Gary says. 4th of July, they would go around and they would put American flags out at everyone's houses. I love that idea. You may want to ask these days, because people get a little crazy, but still, it's how are you going to differentiate yourself from everyone else? And that's by being there at the time of the need and serving them without saying, I'm a realtor, I want to sell your house.
yeah. It's funny you say that. I had an agent that farmed my neighborhood, and she had been farming it for years and doing a really good job of it, unfortunately. The neighborhood that I lived in. And every year around the 1st of July, she would come out and put little flags in the yard with a business card on there. And so, there was 173 houses in that neighborhood. So she would put out 173 flags with the business cards, and everyone loved it. And obviously I can't copy that, because what am I going to do? Go in there June 30th and put them all up before she can? But it was a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Those things are available at the dollar store, usually 2 for $1. So, it was 50, 60 bucks in marketing expenses, and she got a ton of business out of that neighborhood, and it really pissed me off.
Ooh. Hang on. I just thought of a new one, because I just realized, like, I've had to take my kids back to their school to return things. And when you walk in the door and check in, they hand you a face mask with the school logo and name on it. You can go get your own realtor mask and then provide those to people, at venues, or just offer them to the entire neighborhood. I mean, maybe you want to just make them pretty instead of your name, or some sort of slight mark, but still, have some fun with it. Make some of those half face masks with weird mouths, like I've seen like wolf ones and things like that. So, I mean, you get creative.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's also an opportunity, if your community doesn't already do it, organizing a 4th of July picnic, organizing, something. One of the things that I did with my community back in Dallas before I moved down here to Houston was we had a annual every year for Christmas, we essentially the neighborhood cooked Christmas dinner for the local fire department.
That's
And
nice.
everyone would bring over everything over Christmas morning, and then we would take it and deliver it about 9 o'clock in the morning to the fire department. And we, turkey, all the fixings, and we would take them, plates and cups and drinks and all of that kind of stuff. And it was something that they really appreciated. The community really enjoyed getting involved in. And it didn't take a ton of time because there were a lot of people that were involved in it.
Yeah. But I mean, right now is the perfect time to do that with first responders. I mean, I was seeing that a lot when Philadelphia was first hit. You'd see it on the news. Yeah. Or even the local hospitals around here. I saw a couple of different brokerages and even individual realtors that would like go out and get piles of pizza. And I know some of the local pizza places, if you're doing it for a charitable purpose, will give you a better price.
Yep.
And you just get a whole bunch and bring them there to say thank you. I mean, I think that's so important. And actually, that brought me to something that I wanted to ask and we didn't talk about before this. And that is, I'm really curious to hear how people are handling sanitization between showings. I would like to know how you're broaching that topic with clients, saying, hi, I can't drive you in the car, but, here are gloves. I mean, are people stocking up on gloves to take with their clients? Are they getting little bottles of hand sanitizer branded with their name on it now? I was just curious about that. So sorry, Brian, didn't mean to throw that one out of like.
Yeah, there's a ton of branding opportunities surrounding that kind of stuff. But I did want to get on, similar to the HOA group, there was a post in the What to Say Now group. We were talking about Jared James last week, and he was running a webinar. And
Daniel Hayden.
Daniel Hayden.
Yeah, who I've known for about 12 or 13 years, if not more.
He posted in there that he created the first group for the town that he lives in, about 5,000 members. Before COVID, he used to do a weekly look at open houses for the weekend. Now he's just running a meal a week to folks in need, kind of a spin-off group for local restaurants, options, critique, promotion. He currently has 6 restaurants feeding 11 families right now.
That's great. Yeah,
that's pop off a real estate business card every time.
Even if you don't, people.
But it doesn't matter because people will remember what he did.
Yeah, and that's it. Dan was there when I was there, I want to say in 08, 09 and early on, and we created like city community pages basically before they even had community pages. And then of course Facebook did it, so that kind of, but he created those because he's up in the Aston and Media area south of Philadelphia. And he created that, so he's just dedicated so much time to keeping that community alive and active. But finding new ways to engage them, I thought that was great that Dan put that out there. I think it's a great question to say how many other people are doing that, because that's exactly it. What do you do now? What do you say now?
Yeah,
it's that moment. And Laura Granger had said something in the group about one of their agents bought mini apple pies and hand delivered them in the neighborhood. I think that's sweet too. Yeah, but
absolutely.
You have to do something and you have to set yourself apart. And I think everybody has to have value, and community is even more important right now.
Mm-hmm. And social media doesn't have to be about these small communities or small groups, but it is about creating engagement wherever it is that you are. Because the way that Facebook works, for those of you who may not know, is that people have to engage with you, or when people engage with you, it tells Facebook that they like you, and it's going to show them more of your stuff.
Yeah.
So you being on your wall and posting things 25 times a day means nothing if there's no engagement.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why we like what Jared talks about is asking questions. And I think what was some of the questions was like, if I had somebody who was willing to give you your price on a house, would you sell it right now?
Yeah,
And those are the kind of things you get people thinking about. And you might potentially get somebody who say, well, I happen to have somebody. I mean, just asking questions, or the questions like about buying a house next to a cemetery, or if, somebody told you your house was haunted that you were looking at, would you still buy it or want to see it? I mean, there's weird ones, but,
yeah, especially around
questions. But I
Halloween.
like that monkey one we were talking about earlier. What
Yeah,
Dan put up?
exactly. And it doesn't always have to be real estate related.
No, it shouldn't be.
A couple of weeks ago when I was on with Dan, we were talking about one that I posted, which was a picture of a box, and it asked, how many boxes would it take to make a full cube? And I got a ton of interaction with that on my page. And then just yesterday,
Yeah, he did the Rorschach one.
kind of a Rorschach picture. Uh, and if you're not in the What to Say Now group, again, facebook.com/groups/what to say now, or we'll link it in the comments below once we're done here. But there's a picture in there,
I
and
just put it out now, so.
perfect. So there's a picture in there, and the first thing that I see when I look at it just straight off the bat is a monkey swinging on a tree. But then if you look at it from a little bit different angle, there's also a tiger in there. And so not only did he post the picture, but he also posted what it meant. And there's one on the tiger. And then if you see the tiger first, this is your personality profile or the way that your brain works. If you see the monkey first, then this is how your brain works.
What if
And
you see them like almost simultaneously? Like,
yeah,
what was it? The tiger eating the monkey head.
uh, but it's those kind of things that it's absolutely nothing real estate related, but it gets a ton of engagement, and it's actually really cool because like I said, the first thing that I saw is the monkey. I read the description of the monkey and I'm like, that is me spot on.
Yeah, but you know what? I think people forget too, like we talk about Facebook and engaging there, but you have to do the same thing with email. You have to do the same thing with any contact you have with your clients. It cannot all be real estate related because it's like it becomes white noise and they won't see it. You need to be sending things that are interesting and completely unrelated, and it needs to feel personalized, so it's like people forget that what we're talking about related to Facebook groups or how to engage with people on a website, that translates to person, face to face, and email marketing, or even like handwritten cards, things like that. That's how you differentiate yourself, those touches. Like somebody joins your group, it might be a lot to do, but what did Jared say the other day? He did a webinar with my brokerage, and I was watching, and it was great because he was like, just copy, and you were watching too, take the list of people that just joined and welcome them all in a message. People like to be mentioned. People like to be engaged. And we had asked Dan Hayden to come join us today, but unfortunately he was at a funeral for a family member today, so he couldn't join us. So hopefully perhaps next week, because he does a ton of stuff like that. So that was just the tip of the iceberg, and I think he would be a wealth of ideas. But that's the thing. Where are you guys having problems or trouble or difficulty engaging and communicating? Like, how do you start a conversation?
Yeah,
You know?
there's so many people out there who are just sell, 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 sell on, their social media profile. All it is their houses and their listings and their, open houses and congratulations to the new owners and, things like that. But that's all you see from them. You don't see anything conversational. Post a picture of your dinner now and then. Everybody's doing it. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to humanizing a brand. You are a brand, and people need to realize that you are a persona as a professional, but it's a difficult juggling act at times to sort of keep it going and balance personal and business professional, but also to provide value and service, and I mean, there are some folks out there who can sell like nobody's business. And I always say realtors are two different kinds. They're the naturals and they're the entrepreneur and salespeople. It's the naturals that have the harder time of taking it to the next level. And I think there's some midway in between, but it's what do the consumers want? I find more pushback these days on the hard sell.
Yeah.
You know, there's a total distrust. Like, why do we need you? What value do you bring? Well, as soon as they transact real estate without an agent, they see the value for sure.
Or with a
But
bad agent. Yeah.
yeah, with a bad agent, yeah, let's not even start there. As I just did, and I think it's coming out today or tomorrow, Bill Risser from Fidelity National Title. I just did an interview. He interviewed me for his show, sort of like, you know, going back in time to the RENet days. And one of the things we talked about was what to say now, the group, and why. And it comes from the whole point of, you know, what Dan loves to say, and I think is just great. And Jared quoted him the other day too. Express sincere concern.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. You really have to care, you know, and if you don't, fake it until you do, because you'll learn. You know.
You know, one of my favorite books, going back to what you said a few seconds ago, one of my favorite books and one of my favorite people is Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
And
Gary V.
yeah, Gary V. And he has a book that was put out many years ago called Jab, 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 Right Hook.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the process.
That was his first one, I think.
Yeah, either his first or his second. Yeah. But it's about the process of engaging.
Yeah.
And, you know, so like a boxer, if you're going in and you're boxing and everything that you're doing is going for the kill,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to do it, or you're not going to do it well.
Right.
So you have to be able to set up that kill shot with some jabs. And so those jabs in these terms are not asking for a sale.
Right.
These jabs are providing value. These jabs are providing information, being a resource for people.
Yeah. Being of service, providing value and giving. You have to build rapport and a relationship before you can have somebody trust you enough to let you sell them something, you know?
Absolutely. That way, when it is time for you to go for the sale, well, they know how much value you've brought them and they're going to be more likely to do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, the same thing goes with Facebook. If you're, you know, posting, you know, 5 non-salesy stuff and then something real estate related, and then you post 4, 5, 6 non-sales stuff and then something real estate related, people are going to be engaging with you, because guess what? Most of your real estate related stuff is not going to get much engagement. Mm-hmm. Unless you do it in a very clever way, like you were talking about with, you know, posting, you know, with a haunted house, or you know, next to a cemetery or something like that. You know, would you buy a house if somebody was murdered in it?
Right.
You know,
but you do have to remind them what you do, or they do forget, because it's still, you know, like, oh,
absolutely.
I didn't think about you. Well, you know, sometimes you actually have to ask for the business.
Yeah. And,
you know?
and that's what Gary Vee says. And if all you're doing is jabbing, you're never going to land a kill shot.
Yep.
And so it's going to be completely worthless. But if all you're doing is going for kill shots, everybody's going to be watching for it and have their guards up, and you're not going to, they're going to protect against it, and you're never going to land it. And so you've got to have that mix of non-real estated with real estate. And the same thing goes for, you know, like I said, you know, on Facebook, the same thing goes for, you know, in life conversations. If all you do every time you see someone is hand them a business card, they're going to have their guard up, and people hate salespeople, unfortunately.
No, people are cynical. They distrust salespeople, and I think that's the heart. And I say this, and you know, I just wrote a big paper on this. I think that sales is a misnomer for real estate, because you're really a consultant. You're serving. It's customer service, you know. And the fact that it is considered a sales industry, I think, is just that it's wrong. It sort of it gives people that immediate, you know, defenses go up, and they're ready to fight you. You know, back off. I'm not. You know, so I mean, how do you get past that? I think the perception of what you do needs to change, and I think a lot of agents realize that. But unfortunately, there are also some really bad ones out there that every time we take, you know, 2 steps forward towards that relationship with the general population and the public and the consumers, the consumer behavior, we take 1 step back, and the consumers then get back to the cynicism and the distrustful native. As soon as they hear sales, they're like, nope. Because it isn't. This is, they don't understand agency. They don't understand that the whole point of this is working at that customer's direction and putting their interests ahead of your own.
Yeah.
So,
The exact same thing can be said for social media. It can be said for in-person meetings, but it can also be, said for phone calls. If every time you get on the phone with somebody, they're trying to sell you something or talk, about a particular thing that you have no interest in talking about at the moment, if you see their number on your caller ID, you're just going to hit the ignore button.
You roll your eyes and hit ignore.
Yeah. And guess
To
what happens
voicemail.
and guess what happens when an email comes in from that person?
Yep.
Delete, delete, delete.
Yep.
And eventually Google or whoever it is figures out that you don't want to hear from them, and they end up in your spam box.
Yep.
And so
I can't figure out that system because I end up in spam boxes sometimes, and I'm like, what?
So how can we as agents not end up being ignored and sent to the voicemail? How can we end up getting into their inbox rather than getting sent to their junk or just instant deleted as soon as they see the email from us?
Well, I think that's a good question for everybody to pose this week is, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you get noticed? How are you serving a community so that people know who you are without selling them, without always mentioning real estate? I'd love to get some ideas of how people are doing it.
All right, so that is your mission today, folks.
Homework.
Throughout the next few days, and we're going to post this in the What to Say Now group. If you're not in that group, please request to join. The link is below in the comments here. But you can also drop it here in the comments on this video. How do you differentiate yourself so that you don't end up having your phone calls ignored, so that you don't end up in the junk box in your email? How do you differentiate yourself to show that you're not just an average realtor and that you can help build a community, you can help do all of that kind of stuff without being the proverbial used car salesman?
And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. And you can also put the same in the comments down below, since not everybody wants to use Facebook because it is a closed community.
Yes. So if you're on YouTube, like she said, ring the bell, subscribe, leave a comment below, hit the thumbs up button. For those of you on Facebook that don't mind the closed community, join our Facebook group. Make sure you like the Happy Grasshopper page if you haven't already, so that you get notifications every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What to Say Now is going live, which reminds me, Mondays. We posted a poll in the group this past week.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to know when this show is going to be best for you.
I don't think 2 in the afternoon or 11 in the morning Pacific is the best time on a Monday. I'm thinking evenings. That's my feeling. And I think we might have more people and maybe more engagement because you guys can always join the webinar. So
remember that conversation goes both ways.
Yeah.
You have to be there, just like in your own Facebook groups. When someone posts a question, you've got to be there to respond in order to build that relationship. We need the same thing from you in the What to Say Now group. So go into that group. The poll is marked as an announcement, so it's the first thing that you're going to see in there.
Yep.
Let us know what is the best day for you. Is it the weekend? Is it Tuesday nights? Is it Monday mornings? What is
Sunday evenings, whatever works.
So that we can make sure that we bring you as much value as possible. And of course, as always, if you have any questions that you would like us to address, you can post them on the Happy Grasshopper page. You can post them in the What to Say Now group, or you can email us at whattosaynow@happygrasshopper.com. Maya, any final thoughts?
Yes, one last thing. A lot of people have come to the group, but they've never heard of Happy Grasshopper. And I was going to say, if you haven't, visit happygrasshopper.com and check out the free content. You just have to use your email and register, and then check out the free content that you can send to your clients in various formats. So
yeah, there's a ton
of it. Enjoy it.
Email messages. Not much of it is marketing. So, you know, if you're looking for something non-real estate related to say, there's a ton of stuff there. There's social media images that you can post that we've got all kinds of stuff for. We've got Father's Day coming up, but we had Mother's Day. We've got all kinds of stuff in there.
And if you don't find it, just request it and we'll create it. We've got a team of writers and I write them too.
Yeah. And we have text messages and voicemails that are also in there. So if you're looking for something to say, something to reach out, there's a little bit of mix between heavy real estate, light real estate, and no real estate at all.
And the social media quotes. Some are fun, some are serious, but that's a great way to engage. But just post a message. So check it out or ask us if you have any questions.
All right. Any final thoughts, Maya?
Nope, that's about it. We hope you guys will join us again next week, and thanks for being with us this week.
Absolutely. Thank y'all, everyone, for showing up, watching. Thank you in advance for your comments down below and in the What to Say Now group. Join that group, like us on Facebook, follow and subscribe and all of that stuff on YouTube, and we will see you next week until we hear more from you in that poll. Yep. Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Podcast. We're going to be making this into an audio podcast too. So you can listen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much for joining me. And
thank you, Brian.
And please let us know if there's anything that we can do for you. Y'all have a great day.
Sell a lot.